She vanished after one of the biggest scandals in sports history. The world thought Tiger Woods' betrayal destroyed her. But what Ellen Nordegren did next will absolutely blow your mind. Because while everyone was watching Tiger's comeback, she was building an empire in complete silence. And when you see how she's living now, you'll realize she didn't just survive the storm. She conquered it. The fairy tale that fooled everyone. Before the scandal that shocked the world, Ellen Nordegren was just a Swedish girl who never wanted fame. Born on New Year's Day 1980 in Stockholm, she grew up in a family that valued privacy above everything else. Her mother was a politician who became Sweden's Minister for Migration, and her father was a respected journalist. These weren't people who craved the spotlight. They were serious, educated, and completely allergic to attention. And Ellen? She was exactly the same. Here's what most people don't know. Ellen never dreamed of becoming famous. While other girls her age were chasing modeling careers, she was working in a clothing store just trying to make ends meet. Sure, she did some modeling for Swedish magazines, but it was never her passion. It was just a way to pay the bills. Her real life was quiet, simple, and totally ordinary. Until one random job changed everything. The meeting that changed everything. It happened in that clothing store. A woman named Mia Parnevik walked in, and she was immediately impressed by Ellen's calm, trustworthy presence. Mia's husband was Jesper Parnevik, a professional golfer, and they needed a nanny for their kids. She offered Ellen the job on the spot. Just like that, this Swedish girl who loved her privacy packed her bags and moved to Florida to watch someone else's children. She had no idea she was about to meet the most famous golfer on the planet. Tiger Woods was everywhere in the early 2000s. He wasn't just winning tournaments. He was rewriting golf history. He had billion-dollar endorsements, a flawless public image, and he was treated like royalty wherever he went. And when he met Ellen at a golf event through the Parneviks, he was immediately interested. But here's the twist. Ellen wanted nothing to do with him. Multiple golfers were trying to get her attention, but she turned them all down. She'd seen the chaos that came with dating celebrities, and she wanted no part of it. According to Jesper Parnevik, it took Tiger months of persistence before she finally agreed to one date. Months. Think about that. The most famous athlete in the world had to chase a nanny for months before she gave him a chance. But once she did, everything moved fast. The billion-dollar wedding. In 2003, Tiger proposed to Ellen during a trip to South Africa at an ultra-exclusive game reserve. Less than a year later, they got married in Barbados at one of the most expensive resorts on Earth. The Sandy Lane Resort wedding was everything you'd expect from a sports icon marrying a Swedish beauty. Massive, private, and dripping with wealth. Security guards surrounded the property. Celebrities filled the guest list, and the media was kept miles away. It was the wedding of the century, and it seemed like the start of a perfect life. For years, that's exactly what it looked like. They moved into a massive mansion in Windermere, Florida, complete with private docks and top-level security. In 2007, they had their daughter Sam, and in 2009, their son Charlie was born. Tiger was winning tournaments left and right. Ellen was the devoted mother who stayed home with the kids. They were living the dream. Or at least, that's what the world thought. But here's what nobody saw. Ellen was struggling. She missed her old life, the anonymity, the freedom to go shopping without cameras following her. Being married to Tiger Woods meant every single detail of her existence could become a headline. She turned down interview after interview, even when magazines offered her serious money. She didn't want fame. She never did. And the pressure of living in Tiger's shadow was slowly eating away at her peace of mind. The night everything exploded. Thanksgiving weekend, 2009. It's 2:30 in the morning, and Tiger Woods crashes his Cadillac Escalade into a fire hydrant and a tree just outside his own driveway. When neighbors rush outside, they find him unconscious on the ground with Ellen standing over him holding a golf club. The official story? A minor car accident. But the truth? That was just the beginning of the biggest sports scandal in decades. Earlier that night, Ellen had found text messages on Tiger's phone. Messages from another woman. When she confronted him, everything erupted. According to reports, she grabbed a golf club and smashed the SUV's back window as he tried to drive away. That crash wasn't an accident. It was the sound of a perfect marriage shattering into a million pieces. And then the floodgates opened. One by one, women started coming forward. Waitresses, nightclub workers, women from different cities all across the country. They had voicemails, text messages, proof. The number kept growing, and every single day brought a new name, a new story, a new humiliation for Ellen. The man the world saw as disciplined and trustworthy had been living a double life, and his wife had no idea. The fall of an empire. The backlash was brutal. Sponsors dropped Tiger like he was radioactive. Accenture ended their 6-year deal immediately. Gillette pulled him from campaigns. Gatorade quietly removed his custom drink from shelves. Tiger, the man who once had the perfect image, was now a walking disaster. He issued a public apology, took an indefinite break from golf, and watched his world ranking plummet from number 1 to number 58 in just 1 year. But through all of this, Ellen said nothing. 0 interviews. No angry statements. No public crying. The same woman who never wanted fame refused to use it, even when the entire world was begging her to speak. Photographers camped outside her house. Tabloids offered her millions for her story, and she gave them nothing but silence. That silence became legendary. In a world obsessed with revenge and drama, she refused to play the game. The divorce that shocked no one. In August 2010, Ellen filed for divorce. There was no drama, no courtroom circus. Just a simple joint statement confirming the marriage was over. The settlement was rumored to be around $100 million, making it one of the most expensive celebrity divorces ever. But Ellen didn't care about the money. She cared about her kids. The custody arrangement was respectful and focused entirely on Sam and Charlie's well-being. She wanted them protected from the chaos that had consumed their family name. Finally, Ellen broke her silence in one interview with People magazine. And what she said cut through all the speculation. "I'm so embarrassed that I never suspected. For the past 3.5 years, I was home a lot more with pregnancies and the children. How could I not have known anything?" She hadn't turned a blind eye. She hadn't accepted it for money or image. She had simply trusted her husband and believed in her family. And that trust had been completely destroyed. She also said something that revealed just how deep the pain went. "The word betrayal isn't strong enough. I felt like my whole world had fallen apart. My world, as I thought it was, had never existed." That's the statement of someone whose entire reality had been shattered. But even in that pain, she refused to hate Tiger. She talked about forgiveness, taking time, and being the last step of the grieving process. It was a remarkably composed response from someone whose life had been publicly destroyed. The transformation nobody saw coming. And then Ellen did something that shocked everyone. She enrolled at Rollins College in Winter Park, Florida, to study psychology. While other celebrity ex-wives were launching reality shows and clothing lines, Ellen went back to school. Full-time. She sat in classes with students who barely knew her story. She studied, took exams, and threw herself into learning. In 2014, she graduated with a 3.96 GPA, earning top honors and the Outstanding Senior Award. She even gave a speech at graduation about resilience and gratitude. This wasn't a PR stunt. This was a woman rebuilding her identity from the ground up. Psychology wasn't just a degree for her. It was a way to understand the trauma she'd endured and eventually help others dealing with similar pain. At the same time, Ellen was making quiet moves in real estate. In 2011, she bought a $12 million oceanfront mansion in North Palm Beach, tore it down completely, and rebuilt it from scratch. She designed every detail herself, blending Swedish minimalism with coastal luxury. Then in 2020, she sold it for $28.6 million, more than double her investment. It was one of the biggest residential real estate flips in Palm Beach County that year. And she did it all without posting a single Instagram photo or seeking any publicity. The life she built in secret. In 2017, Ellen found love again with Jordan Cameron, a former NFL player who had also stepped away from the spotlight after retiring due to concussions. They welcomed his son together in 2019, though the news only surfaced when Ellen was spotted with a baby bump at her older son's soccer game. No announcement, no magazine cover, just quiet, private joy. Today, Ellen lived a life that's completely unrecognizable from her years with Tiger. She owns multiple properties in Florida. She focuses on raising her 3 children in peace. She occasionally appears at her kids' sporting events, especially when Charlie plays in junior golf tournaments, but she never seeks attention. Her co-parenting relationship with Tiger has become stable and respectful. They've both put their children first, and it shows. So what happened to Ellen Nordegren after the biggest scandal in sports history? She didn't just survive. She thrived. While the world was watching Tiger's comeback, she was earning a degree with a near-perfect GPA, flipping multi-million-dollar properties, raising 3 beautiful children, and finding real love again. All without posting on social media. All without seeking revenge. All without needing the spotlight that once consumed her. The woman who was supposed to be destroyed by betrayal became financially independent, emotionally strong, and genuinely happy. She went from being defined by someone else's failures to building an empire entirely on her own terms. And she did it all in complete silence. That's not just surviving a scandal. That's rewriting your entire story and coming out on top. Ellen Nordegren didn't need the world's attention to prove she won. She just needed to live well. And trust me, she's living better than anyone could have imagined.